Welcome back everyone to a brand new SkillCapped video, and today we'll be providing you guys with 3 champions for every single role that are amazing solo carries for patch 14.16. And are you sick of losing games from bad teammates? Well, at SkillCapped, we turn your frustrating losses into satisfying wins. Take our brand new Season 14 courses that teach you the secrets to winning as top laner, jungler, mid laner, AD carry, and support. Then pair that with our other new courses on how to counter OP top and mid laners, master your jungle clears, or check out our new Bronze to Diamond series. We even have new Season 14 courses on macro, wave control, trading, settings and hotkeys, CSing, vision, mechanics, low elo mistakes, and the list goes on. Then head over to our Smurf commentaries. Simply select the champion you want to master and get guides from challenger experts teaching how to play your champion in the exact rank you're stuck in. You're even guaranteed to have all your questions answered by that very same challenger expert. Our service really does work. That's why we offer a rank up guarantee. If you don't rank up while actively using SkillCapped, you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below right now to get the rank you've always dreamed of. Making his way into the top lane top 3 for this patch is going to be Urgot. Urgot has been an S tier solo queue pick for a while now, but he gets even better this patch with the buffs to Black Cleaver. Urgot is one of the few champions who actually rushes Black Cleaver, so he gets to benefit from the buff a lot earlier on in the game than most champs who run the item. Urgot is one of the better blind pick champs that you can play up in the top lane because there are very few matchups that he hard loses to. Urgot is one of the best level 1s in the game due to his E, as you can look to trade aggressively right from the jump. Many champs are looking to play off of a level 2 or 3 power spike, but Urgot is a lot stronger than most top laners right from level 1. Ranged tops are who Urgot can run into more difficulties against, so avoiding someone like Vayne or just banning her out is a good idea. Standard core build for Urgot revolves around a Black Cleaver rush into Hullbreaker 2nd and Sterix Gage 3rd. Even after the recent nerfs to Fleet, it's still outperforming Press the Attack. If you are really confident in your Urgot and know your matchups well, then taking PTA when you know you can pressure early on can work great. But if you're newer to Urgot or know you're in a more difficult matchup, then Fleet is just going to be more consistent value. For our second solo carry selection up in the top lane, it's going to be Aatrox. If piloted well, Aatrox is some of the most powerful skirmish strength for any top laner, as his damage output and sustain can be ridiculous. This makes Aatrox very rewarding to play, as you can completely run away with games when you get a lead, and you rely very little on your teammates to succeed. What's so great about the champ right now, though, is that you can run both Bruiser and Lethality builds. Eclipse with Sundered Sky and Sterix Gage is the most popular core build for Aatrox right now, but going Profane Hydra and Serylda's Grudge can also work amazing. Aatrox is just a better blind pick now due to having the luxury of these two builds, as you can prioritize the Bruiser setup when you're against more Bruisers or tanks, and the Lethality setup can shine into more squishy comps. Ban-wise for Aatrox, Fiora is never a bad choice, as her W and mobility make landing Qs consistently much more difficult. The rune page for Aatrox consists of Conqueror with Triumph, Haste, and Last Stand, while Second Wind and Revitalize are for secondaries. And to round out the top 3 for top lane, if you want a fighter who's a little easier to pick up but equally as strong as Aatrox, Volibear is the play. Volley is one of those fighters who really thrives at taking short trades early on in lane. E providing not only damage but also a shield gives Volley the edge up in a lot of early fights, so playing around the spell's cooldown is important. Even though E is the spell that you max out last on Volley, taking the spell level 1 is key, as you can use it to easily win out at level 1 trades. It's kind of similar to what we mentioned when covering Urgot earlier in the video. Level 1 of Volley is actually quite powerful, so you can gain an advantage in lane right from the get-go. Now, one champ who can really nullify your trading strength in lane who you should consider banning is Jax, as his E makes it quite difficult to initiate fights. The standard core build for Volibear that offers such a nasty mid-game spike consists of Rod of Ages into Navori Flicker Blades and Spirit Visage or Frozen Heart 3rd. As for the optimal rune page, it's Press the Attack with Presence of Mind, Haste, and Last Stand, while Triple Tonic and Jack of all trades are for secondaries. There aren't many changes that will influence the jungle meta for this patch, so you can continue spamming Lilia to some great success. Lilia is arguably the best teamfight jungler that you can play right now, as her AoE damage and the threat of a multi-man R gives her such incredible value in grouped up fights. There's even a new build that has been gaining traction on Lilia over the past patch that makes her even better, and it consists of going Liandry's into Riftmaker. Black Fire has become a bit overrated on Lilia ever since it was nerfed a few patches back, and players have picked up on that and transitioned to this new build. You're just a lot more difficult to kill with the Riftmaker, as you get the health and Omnivamp, which allows you to be even more of a nuisance in fights. Champs with very high burst threat who can one-shot Lilia and nullify her kiting power are good bans, and with Kha'Zix in meta right now, he's a good choice. For the rune page on Lilia, look to grab Conqueror with Triumph, Haste, and Cutdown, while Freeboots and Cosmic Insight are for secondaries. Turns out the 14.15 nerfs to Shyvana did not impact her solo queue power all that much, so she's back in the top 3 for 14.16. Shyvana is a really great solo queue champ right now because she's extremely easy to play and has a very very powerful setup that offers incredibly strong teamfight presence. The game plan is super simple with Shyvana, as hitting your level 6 spike as soon as possible is what you should be focused on. At level 6, the gank power and skirmish of Shyvana becomes 10 times better, and you can really look to press your opponents. Since Shyvana doesn't have the greatest gank power pre-6, banning a jungler in meta who does like to gank a lot like Hecarim will help give you more leeway towards that level 6. First two items with Shyvana should always be Spear of Shojin and Liandry's, while it can be pretty situational from then on out. The rune page finding the most success in solo queue on Shyvana right now is Fleet Footwork with Triumph, Haste, and Cut Down, while Free Boots and Jack of all trades are for secondaries. A jungler who has really been gaining in priority as of late and cracking the top 3 for this patch is Amumu. Amumu's meta build just makes him so powerful for solo queue because it provides him with a great mix of damage and durability. You have some nice early game snowball power from Liandry's, and then when you transition into the mid game and start team fighting, you purchase tank items to survive when diving in for those ult plays. It's really more players picking up on and realizing the strength of Liandry's rush that has propelled Amumu up in priority. Prior to 14.14, Sunfire Rush was the most popular on the champ, but 14.15 onwards, the majority of players have swapped to rushing Liandry's, which is proving to be extremely powerful. Since Amumu is a jungler who wants to be diving the backline in fights, banning a meta champ with strong peel power like Melio or Braum is a good idea. As for Amumu's rune page, look to take Conqueror with Triumph, Haste, and Last Stand, followed by Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter for secondaries. Moving on to mid lane now, the best melee assassin that you can play for solo queue is Naafiri. Naafiri has a lot of favorable matchups in meta, as she wins a ton against LeBlanc, Sylas, and Akali, who are 3 of the most annoying mids in the game. The only meta matchup who you may want to consider banning out that Naafiri has always struggled against in solo queue is Yone. Even though Naafiri is a melee assassin, the range that she has from her Q allows her to bully out many melee mids in lane. You just whittle the enemy down with Q as they are going for last hits, and then once you get them low enough, it's so easy to finish off kills because you have the point and click engage from W. Since you have this point and click engage, you can really zone the enemy off the wave if they end up dropping low, because if they end up walking up too far, it's a guaranteed kill for you. This is something that makes Naafiri more noob friendly and a really great solo queue assassin, because there's just less micro that goes into winning with her compared to most other assassins. The standard core build for Naafiri consists of an Eclipse Rush into Profane Hydra 2nd and Cyrilja's Grudge 3rd. Rune Page is first strike with Free Boots, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight, followed by Sudden Impact and Treasure Hunter for secondaries. Naafiri is the best melee assassin right now, but when it comes down to a ranged assassin, LeBlanc is the way to go. The lane bully power that LeBlanc has early on makes her very rewarding to master. From as early as level 1, you can look to trade aggressively, as her auto W auto combo procs Electrocute and chunks quite hard. The skirmish strength of LeBlanc is super high as well, so it's really important you're paying attention to where your jungler is on the map and helping them out with early fights. LeBlanc is one of the few champs who can push up in lane but not really ever be in danger of getting ganked due to her W. As long as you're hugging one side of the lane that you have warded, you can just play to that side and never die to a gank. This is great because it allows you to keep a constant push in lane and give your jungler the ability to play as aggressive as they want. 14.16 actually gets even better for LeBlanc because Doran's Blade is losing health, which will increase her kill threat in certain matchups. LeBlanc really thrives when she's able to freely use her mobility to set up pick plays, so champions with point and click crowd control are the only ones you really run into issues against, so banning out Vex or Malzahar is good value. The core build for LeBlanc consists of Eluden's Rush into Shadowflame 2nd and Rabadon's 3rd. Rune Page, that is becoming more popular on LeBlanc as of late, revolves around Electrocute with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter, while Absorb Life and Cut Down are for secondaries. The best solo queue mid that you can play in general right now, who has so much strength in this mid lane meta, is Vex. If you can play a good Vex, you're going to be winning a ton in 14.16 because 3 of her best matchups are now the most played champions for solo queue. LeBlanc, Yone, and Yasuo are all being heavily prioritized, so it makes the Vex counter incredibly valuable. Even Katarina and Sylas are getting buffed for this patch, which should lead to them getting played more, and Vex dumpsters those champs as well. Range is the only downside to Vex, as without her ultimate, she's got pretty medium range spells. The longer ranged mids like Hui and Lux can be more difficult to lane into, so using your ban on either of them is a good idea. The standard build for Vex has her going Luden's into Shadowflame 2nd and Zanya's or Rabadon's 3rd. For the rune page, look to grab Electrocute with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collection, and Ultimate Hunter, while Mana Flow and Transcendence are for secondaries. An ADC who has gained a ton in priority over the past few patches, and kicking off the top 3 for the role is Miss Fortune. There were a few patches there in the middle of Season 14 where MF was quite weak, but after getting directly buffed, her new meta build being discovered, and many other ADCs being directly nerfed, she's back as one of the top tier picks. What we like so much about Miss Fortune right now is that she can abuse the Bloodthirster Rush when combined with taking Barrier for her secondary summoner spell. You just have so much added durability on that one item spike. For a champion who lacks a gap closer, being able to run a setup like this is perfect because you won't get punished as often for making a slight misstep. The complete core build that works best for Miss Fortune is the Bloodthirster Rush into Essence Reaver 2nd and Infinity Edge 3rd. Using a ban on a meta dive champ is never a bad idea when picking MF, so Zed or Yone are both good options right now. As for the rune page, it's Press the Attack with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Cutdown, followed by Free Boots and Biscuits for secondaries. Right up there with Miss Fortune as one of the best ADCs for 14.16 is Jhin. While many ADCs were hit last patch by the Shiv and Kraken nerfs, Jhin walked away untouched and has gained priority as a result. With nerfs to Doran's Blade this patch, it'll be interesting to see if Boots or Longsword Start make a comeback on Jhin. In the past, this was one thing about Jhin that made him quite unique, as you had 3 different viable starting items, being Doran's, Longsword, or Boots. So that's something we'll be monitoring throughout the patch. The core build for Jhin consists of rushing the Collector, going Infinity Edge 2nd, and then Rapid Fire Cannon 3rd. Similar to Miss Fortune, Jhin doesn't like playing into those heavy dive champs, so banning out Zed or Yone is good value right now. Grab Fleet Footwork for the Keystone Rune with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Cutdown, followed by Celerity and Gathering Storm for secondaries. Making her way onto the solo carry top 3 for ADC for the first time in a while is Ashe. Now, despite the nerfs to Shiv and Kraken last patch, there's actually a build going around on Ashe that involves both items that is performing incredibly well. You rush Shiv, go Kraken 2nd, and then 3rd item is Bloodthirster. Build is especially popular over in Korea right now. Setup does make a lot of sense for Ashe because you have some nice upfront burst potential. A lot of Ashe's strength in solo queue comes from finding catch plays with R, and when you have the energized proc from Shiv combined with the 3-hit passive proc from Kraken, you can burst a target out a little quicker than if you went for Phantom Dancer. Bloodthirster just makes a lot of sense for Ashe as a later game pickup because the added durability helps her out a ton as champs try to dive onto her. It's going to be the same ban recommendations for Ashe as we had for MF and Jhin, as you really can't go wrong with getting rid of Zed or Yone right now. A lot of players are taking the wrong rune page on Ashe, so make sure you've got it right. The optimal page consists of Press the Attack with Absorb Life, Alacrity, and Cutdown, while Biscuits and Approach Velocity are for secondaries. Suddenly, one of the highest priority supports for solo queue, who is back in the top 3 for a second patch in a row, is Seraphine. Seraphine is the best enchanter that you can play for solo queue, as her new build combined with the utility and catch power that she has to offer is the complete package. Teamfight impact to Seraphine is incredibly high due to the threat of her R and the AoE shield she can pump out from W. All the added healing that she has from her core build gives her carries a bunch of extra durability, which can be so impactful. The build in question has her taking Solstice Slay as the item upgrade and then going Echoes of Helia and Moonstone as core pickups. Champs with catch power who can burst you out pretty quick are harder to play against, so banning out Pyke is a good idea. The best rune page is Guardian with Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Revitalize, followed by Mana Flow and Transcendence for secondaries. The 14.15 Leona nerfs didn't do quite enough to significantly reduce her solo queue strength, so she's back in the top 3 for this patch. Just so much to like about Leona right now, as she's got everything you're looking for in a melee support. The catch and burst power is top tier, as few supports can lock down an enemy for as long as Leona can, while also providing a good chunk of damage. You go Bloodsong for the item upgrade with Leona, so when you do find those catches, finishing off kills becomes a bit easier. Not only do you provide your teammate with more damage from your passive, but the Bloodsong proc adds to that even further, so it makes it very easy for your teammates to collect kills off your engages. Warmog's Rush is still the most optimal way to play Leona, and the item provides such a massive spike when you pick it up. Champs with strong peel power who can nullify Leona's engage are who you want to avoid, so banning out Braum or Janna is a good idea. Aftershock will be the Keystone Rune with Font of Life, Second Wind, and Overgrowth, while Sudden Impact and Relentless Hunter is a very underrated secondary page. And for our final solo carry selection of the patch, right up there with Leona as an extremely powerful melee support pick is Poppy. Just like Leona, Poppy is a melee support who can actually output a ton of damage on her own, which gives her way more solo carry power than most melee supports. Stunning an enemy with E and then following up with Q and 3 Hail of Blades auto attacks will absolutely chunk a squishy target. It's not just the damage output that makes Poppy so great though, as her roam power is top tier. Rushing Swiftness Boots and then going Deadman's Plate provides so much bonus movement speed, which makes flanking and setting up fights super easy. On top of this, the champ is a phenomenal counter to heavy dive comps, as the peel power that Poppy provides with her R has so much value in teamfights. Just using your point and click E to knock enemy dive champs away from your carries is incredibly powerful as well and takes no skill at all. You want to avoid champs with strong peel power when picking Poppy, so banning out Braum or Janna is a good idea. The complete rune page consists of Hail of Blades with Sudden Impact, Zombie Ward, and Relentless Hunter, while Hex Flash and Cosmic Insight are the best secondaries. Alright guys, one last thing, our rank up guarantee is insane. It's like signing up for the gym and getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with top players, rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb easy. If you're ready to level up, visit SkillCapped.com and see the difference. So that's gonna wrap everything up for our latest update on the best solo carry champions. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.